Pound for pound, the heaviest drivers in Club 100 sprinting. Championship leader Jamie Crease has a narrow lead over Dan Underhill, Barney Langley, Paul Jennings, Tom Foy. The guy to watch though, he's only competed in 4 of the 6 finals so far, is Trevor Randall. There is a suggestion that the only thing stopping him from winning this championship is indeed the pies he likes. He starts in pole position ahead of Harry Landy, Mike Bodner, Jose Soler on row 2, Stephen Jennings, Jamie Bird on row 3. Coming round for the Union flag, Randall controls the pace, Landy conscious of looking at his feet to see if he sees him drop the throttle. We're racing into turn 1, who'll get that whole shot? It is of course Randall. From Landy, Jose Soler in 3rd. Streaming through and out of the hook. Landy looking for the way by Soler, Mike Bodner in 4th place. So good start from Bodner, ahead of Jamie Bird, Stephen Jennings. Down the Lancaster curve, on board with Dan Underhill, that's Peter Cowan ahead of us. Cowan also carries the camera with Andy Cowell and Trevor Randall. So lots of coverage, we'll see all the shenanigans I'm sure. Dan Hoy there, running in behind Tom Foy. Rounding out lap 1, and it's Randall leading from Harry Landy, Jose Soler, Mike Bodner. Jamie Bird under pressure from Stephen Jennings, Peter Cowan, Dan Underhill, gap then to Andy Cowell. Running in 9th place ahead of Tom Foy. You're on board with Peter Cowan. Stephen Jennings ahead of us. Cowan takes a wide turn in. He'll be looking to throw it up the inside of Matt Wood as if there's space, and there is none. Jennings has got a chance to put a run on Jamie Bird, who makes a mistake in Matt Werters. With Jennings shooting for 5th into Chandler's. Jamie Bird on the outside, he's run out wide and over the grass, and he's looking to keep it out the tyre barriers. That looked a bit peculiar. If this was Formula 1, I'd say that he'd got on the marbles, but as we know, these tyres are made of wood, so that can't be the issue. So Peter Cowan up to 6th place. Dan Underhill moves up to 7th. We ride on board with him, trying to get an overlap on Peter Cowan. Not quite there, and Cowan stays in 6th. Tom Foy will be closing in behind Dan Underhill, I'm sure. Well, he's a few kart lengths down, but he's ahead of Andy Cowell. Jamie Crease down the inside of Dan Hoy. What looked like 10th place. Underhill goes through on Peter Cowan. Tom Foy closing in on Cowan, but half a second or so down. Up front, Trevor Randall leads Harry Landy. Jose Soler a couple of kart lengths down. Randall on the classic racing line for the hairpin, using all the road and a bit more. Landy looking fairly racy here, and Mike Bodner is now under pressure from Stephen Jennings over 5th place. Randall perhaps a little bit on the defensive here to hold off Harry Landy. Jose Soler staying in touch, but unable to close on Harry Landy. Bodner has fought off Stephen Jennings, has got him at a kart length. Paul Jennings trying to put a move on Barney Langley for 13th. He's cut away, contact Landy on Randall, loses his momentum. Here comes Jose Soler, a mistake from Landy. Goes on the defensive to hold off Soler at the hairpin. Not close enough for the crisscross to get an overlap into the hook. Settles into 3rd. Gives Randall a breathing space and a kart length. Nothing like that for Mike Bodner. Stephen Jennings is back and he wants to be by. Dan Underhill is closing in. Underhill now will look for a mistake from Bodner and Jennings. Having to follow, he'll have Peter Cowan on his bumper. Quite a lift, a bit of brake into Chandler's, but he's got the revs and the momentum. Jennings thinking about throwing it inside of Mike Bodner, but the turn into the dell is such a narrow piece of track, and there's not much braking going in. So Jennings on the defensive to hold off Underhill, who's going down the outside looking for the crisscross and the undercut on the exit. Not quite there. So Tom Foy sets the fastest lap, takes 0.3 of a second out of Peter Cowan. So Cowan can't take too long over this. Similarly for Dan Underhill, they need to be by. Look, Tom Foy is moving closer to Peter Cowan. Mike Bodner proving a difficult man to pass for Stephen Jennings, and a queue is beginning to form. Up front, Landy's ran down Trevor Randall. It's game on at the front. It's game on here over 4th place. It's getting a bit messy. There's contact. Tom Foy has arrived. We're on board with Andy Cowell. Foy on the outside, Cowan on the inside. Cowan's got the line. So Andy Cowell's got Jamie Crease and Dan Hoy behind him as well. Foy to the inside of Cowan. This time the line is with him. Cowell closing in. Will the gap open up? No, it won't. He'll be busy trying to get a good run off this corner. Chandler's not quite close enough. Be a brave move. He ran wide there as well, Andy Cowell. Missed his apex. So Bodner holds Stephen Jennings at a cart length. Out of the dell, up front, there's nothing like it. Randall has got Landy on his bumper and Jose Sola closing back in. Oh, and it's beginning to kick off behind as Jennings goes down the inside of Bodner. Contact from Underhill, who loses all his momentum. And by goes Tom Foy and Peter Cowan. Oh, and Bodner's back at Jennings. He's managed to get the position back. Andy Cowell, Jamie Crease, Dan Hoy. Landy looking for the lead. The first serious attempt from Harry Landy. But he's got to be careful. He's got Jose Sola looking to pick up the pieces. Foy eases his way past Stephen Jennings. Cowan is holding off Andy Cowell. That's risky in itself. So Cowell closing. I think Andy Cowell's got more pace than Peter Cowan. So Tom Foy lines up behind Mike Bodner for a shot at 4th place. Up front, Sola to the inside of Harry Landy for 2nd. And he goes through. Lovely move. Underhill down the inside of Cowan. They're rubbing side pods off the corner. Cowell might get a run round the pair of them. Cowan's got the momentum to go back through. Oh, contact. Cowell on Dan Underhill. And Crease is coming through with more contact. Out of the hook. They go. This is turning into about a 12-card dice for 4th place. Everybody's in it, apart from the leading trio, who are gone. They're 3.5 seconds up the road. Tom Foy's all over the back, going into Chandler's of Mike Bodner. Bodner runs wide off the corner, and Tom Foy is through. Tom Foy through to 4th place. The levy is truly broken this time. Randall still got a cart length and a half to 2 cart lengths on Jose Sola, who's definitely got 2 cart lengths on Harry Landy. Foy in 4th place. Stephen Jennings leans in and on Mike Bodner once again. The crisscross is on for Cowan. 3 wide over start finish. Who's going to lift? Cowan goes through. Contact with Jennings, but the position is his. Dan Underhill going around the outside of Mike Bodner. So Peter Cowan up to 5th. Jennings in 6th. Andy Cowell going down the inside of Mike Bodner if he can, but the road goes in Mike Bodner's favour. So Bodner goes back through, and bringing with him is Dan Hoy. So it's all kicked off as we expected towards the end of this first final. Jamie Crease goes through on Mike Bodner. Bodner getting the crap kicked out of him by everybody else in heavyweight Clubman's. So coming round to start the penultimate lap, Trevor Randall's lead is still just 0.3 of a second. Crease holding off Andy Cowell for 9th. Paul Jennings joining in with Angus Borth, Jamie Bird, Barney Langley. There's a penalty board out there. Who was that for? Was that Andy Cowell? Race leader Randall is into McWhirters. Sola and Landy's coming back to them. Cowan is holding off Stephen Jennings, but not for any longer. Jennings goes through and back to 5th place. There's nothing he can do about Tom Foy. He's gone. Underhill on the bumper of Cowan. Big lift from Jennings on the exit of Chandler's, and Cowan goes back through. Oh, Jennings all over the road, not on the racing line, with a little bit of help from Underhill. Starting the final lap then, with a bit of a love tap from Landy on Solar. Trevor Randall leads. The final lap board is out. It's coming in, four-wheel drifting it Randall style into the hook. Has Solar got anything left for Trevor Randall? He's looking the inside into Surtees, but not close enough. Can he throw it inside of McWhirter's? Well, it gets very narrow here, down at the business end. Landy's not out of this one yet. Gap then to Tom Foy, a lonely fourth place, but he'll be pleased with that. Cowan ahead of Jennings, under pressure from Dan Underhill. 3 corners from the finish. It's going to come down to Raymond's on the hairpin, and Solar's not close enough to Randall. Not the same when we're talking about second place, as Landy got one move left in him, down the inside into Raymond's, side by side off the corner. Landy's got second, Randall's got the win, Solar gets it on the line for second. Well, we've had 5 corking finals. Can we make this 6th of the best? Crackers, everyone. Wales has given some great racing over these last 2 rounds. Paul Jennings has pole position for this second final. Trevor Randall on the front row with him, in a straight fight with Tom Foy starting on grid 3 for that prized Leakers Welsh Open champion. Harry Landy starts on grid 4. We ride on board for the start with Peter Cowan on grid 5, and he's missed that start as Jamie Crease goes round the outside and into the hook. Heavy contact from behind by Dan Hoy, Jose Sola, Andy Cowell. Someone's in the tyres. It's Jamie Crease picking up a cone. And I'll be surprised to see if Race Control let this one go. Indeed, the green and yellow abort flag is flying. There'll be a regrid, and we'll lose a couple of laps from this final. The drivers have all been warned about loading and start discipline. If they want to go banger racing, they should join the BTCC. So let's try this one again. Back on board with Peter Cowan, Paul Jennings with the yellow lid in pole position, Trevor Randall on the outside, Tom Foy, Harry Landy, Jamie Crease on grid 6, over start finish, into turn 1 again, and Paul Jennings has got the lead ahead of Randall. Foy, Landy trying to hold off Peter Cowan, side by side, but they're making it through cleanly this time. Jamie Bird has got Stephen Jennings up the inside. He's going to try and go around the outside of Solar. Jennings leads from Randall. They've already pulled out a cart length or 2 on Tom Foy. We're on board with Peter Cowan. That was Dan Hoy on our left that we've just overtaken. Andy Cowell's ahead of Jamie Bird. Jose Sola takes a shot there from Dan Underhill. Whoa, into the dell. Whoa, and he straight lines that one to take that position. I'm guessing that Jose Sola sorted out that move from Dan Underhill. Jennings on the defensive already to hold off Randall. And perhaps the pattern has been cast. Jennings is not short of pace, of course. He must have put a blistering lap in to take the pole position. Foy trying to find a way past Randall. And this is the view from behind, out the back door of Trevor Randall. Tom Foy trying to close in. He's had one shot already. He'll be hoping that Jennings can hold him up long enough to give Tom Foy a chance. Foy loves his veg. He can make a lovely salmon haddock and leek risotto from the prize. And he's closing in. And he's towing with him Harry Landy and Jamie Crease into the dell. And I think Randall may have made a mistake, because Paul Jennings has pulled out a cart length. Tom Foy's right there on his back door. Not close enough. It looks as though Trevor Randall's fairly mighty down to the hairpin. Jamie Bird trying to find a way past Andy Cowell, can't get it done. We're back on board with Dan Underhill. So Underhill in 10th as Bird takes a rather speculative look down the inside of Andy Cowell. So Foy trying to close that last half cart length. Jennings trying to hold off Randall and Foy, and you can count in it now. Harry Landy, Jamie Crease, Peter Cowan in 6th place, Dan Hoy in 7th. So Randall looks to the inside of Jennings once again, not close enough. Into the hook. Jennings trying to keep it tidy. Randall looking to the inside, down the Surtees, not close enough. Jamie Bird is strung out of the hook and he's looking once again at Andy Cowell. Can't get it to work. Will that open the door for Dan Underhill? The door is open. Underhill steps through. And the position is his, and Langley's getting a run round the outside. Bird looks to the inside of Underhill, throws it down the inside of Chandler as he went off there in the first final. He's lost a position to Langley, but he's gained one on Dan Underhill, so it's all square for him. Underhill goes back 2 spots, back up front. Paul Jennings is doing all he can to hold off Randall, who's strong out of the dell. And he's got an overlap. Randall going for the lead over start finish. Oh, they're rubbing wheels. Jennings tips it over the top to hold the spot, and he's got it. Jennings holds on to the lead, and it's all stacking up behind him. Underhill looking to the inside. Foy had a tap on the back bumper of Trevor Randall. He can probably taste that leek and bacon potato soup as they go down the Lancaster curve. And it's Jennings still holding off Randall. Randall looking for a way by. Into the dell, has he got it done? No, he hasn't. We still ride on board with Peter Cowan. Crease ahead of us. Dan Hoy looking for a way by, can't get it done. Jennings once again trying to hold off Trevor Randall. He goes in narrow. Randall's able to go a cart width wider. Will the overlap work this time? He's going for it. Can he get it done? He can't. Paul Jennings, what a defensive fight he's putting up here. Tom Foy is still sitting there thinking about what he could make from that vegetable. Trevor Randall, a great pie eater. He'll be thinking about that lovely, lovely ham and leek and potato pie he could make from his prize for the Welsh Open. Jennings beginning to sweat there. Well, he would if he could, of course, mop his brow, but he obviously can't. Landy, Crease, Hoy. Here we go again. Randall's quick down here. He gets Jennings to go very narrow this time. The crisscross must be on. Is this it? Yes, it is. Randall hits the front and Foy's able to go by with him. Tom Foy up to second, and Landy will be looking for a way by if he can. So Jennings has lost the lead. It's important that he regroups and holds off Harry Landy so he doesn't lose any more ground. He goes narrow into Surtees. And here comes Tom Foy, but round the outside, it's brave into McWhirters, but it's never going to work. He'd have been run out over the sausage. So he settles back into second, took a look over his shoulder, but Paul Jennings wasn't there to strike anywhere. He's too busy with Harry Landy. Jamie Crease, Dan Hoy is now ahead of Peter Cowan. So Cowan down to 7th. Barney Langley's joining in as well, and Dan Underhill's not a million miles away. Through the chicane, Hoy takes a look over his shoulder, but he's clear of Cowan. Randall went on the defensive to hold off Foy. Bird down the inside of Cowell. And the 3 wide off the corner here. It's Underhill, Cowell, and Jamie Bird. And Jamie Bird sent down the outside, missing out the chicane. Wow, it's all kicking off. Tom Foy tapping on the back bumper once again of Randall. Will Randall be able to hold on for that creamed leek tart? Through Chandler's once again, and Langley makes it an 8-way dice for the lead. Barney Langley trying to score good points. Had a bit of a dip at Glenny-Gore. Never runs well when I'm filming, but perhaps it'll be different today. He goes down the inside of Peter Cowan and puts himself into 7th place. Into the hook, there's more places to be had. Harry Landy holding off Jamie Crease for 4th place. Next target for Barney Langley is Dan Hoy, and he's right there. Hoy looking over his shoulder and going defensive into Surtees. Back on board with Dan Underhill, trying to run down Peter Cowan. There's so much on the limit, there isn't margin to put a move in. Mike Bodner trying to find a way past Andy Cowell for 10th. We're a lap and a half from the finish. Trevor Randall's pulled out a couple of cart lengths on Tom Foy. Paul Jennings has moved back in, so I suspect that Foy's made a slight mistake. Back on board with Dan Underhill going down the hairpin. Hoy goes defensive to hold off Langley. Oh, and down the inside goes Underhill to pass Peter Cowan. Dan Underhill up to 9th place over start finish. They start the final lap. Somebody's gone down the escape route. It's Underhill who's got a penalty. Dan Underhill out of this final. So Tom Foy in 2nd, holding off Paul Jennings. Eyes on the end of stalk through that clear visor. Down to Chandler's for the last time. Trevor Randall's got this one in the bag. Langley down the inside of Dan Hoy. What a move! Barney Langley up to 6th place. It's a shame this isn't a 12-lap final. He could do 2 or 3 more. But we're coming down to the final corner. Trevor Randall is going to take 4 wins in 6 races, and he'll be able to stuff his face with a smoked haddock and leek chowder ahead of Tom Foy and Paul Jennings.